Today, before I left for work, I ran to the grocery store to pick up a few things. And when I was in line, I turned around, and the guy behind me had a black t-shirt on with white lettering, and it said, "Nobody cares, work harder." And I thought that was just poetic. Now, what I saw was a response to the Black Lives Matter t-shirts that are out there. And I think this guy was justified in wearing this in the same sense that I believe somebody's justified in wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt. It's a free country. But here's what I think that some people might see when they looked at him. First off, he's a white guy. So obviously he's a racist, right? He's a white supremacist. The other thing that somebody might assume when they looked at him is that he's standing up for all white people right now. Whether or not they're a frustrated white person that's sick of being called a racist when they're not, or they really are a racist. Either way. But that's not what I saw. What I saw was a guy like me, standing up for himself, standing up for his family. Sure, he might be white, but he don't represent all white people. Sure, he might be a hard-working guy. He might be a blue-collar guy like me. But maybe he isn't standing up for all blue-collar people. The thing is, as an individual, because in America, we are allowed to, be in groups, but we're also individuals. We have individual rights, we have individual responsibility. I know a lot of people don't want to take on that individual responsibility because then they would have to work harder, wouldn't they? But that's just it. As an individual, he can make a choice to work harder to get what he wants out of life. He can make a choice to do the right thing, to follow the law, whether he agrees with it or not, to do what is best for him and his family. And all of us have that equal opportunity I was talking about. And organizations that incite violence, that incite crime, they don't get a whole lot of credit in my book. There may be people that believe in the Black Lives Matter movement, may be a part of it, may have gone to some of their events, and may not have committed one crime at all. But you're taking a chance because you're hanging out with an organization that to some might seem like a terrorist organization. I think they have the right to exist because this is a free country. But I don't side with them if they're going to commit crimes, even if it's in the name of social justice or in the name of progress, in the name of change. It just isn't right. It just isn't. Now, there are times where violence is the last resort, and you get to that last resort, but we're not there. Every time law enforcement has interaction with a black person, it's police brutality. Really? What about the person resisting arrest? Now, I have personal opinions about resisting arrest, but they're irrelevant. It's illegal, and it's as simple as don't resist arrest and nothing will happen to you. It's okay for somebody to be operating a vehicle while they're under the influence of drugs or alcohol. It's okay for somebody to have warrants and be out in public and not expect to get arrested if they have a contact with law enforcement. It's okay for somebody to, be, belligerent or behaving in a dangerous manner, dangerous to law enforcement or the general public? No, it isn't. It isn't. And to expect any other outcome is foolish. So I can understand people wanting to bring attention to the rare cases of real police brutality and the rare cases of racism and injustice. That's the American way. We have the right to do that. It says peaceably assemble. But outside of that, it's a call to violence. And it's also a crutch to lean on. Everything isn't my fault. Everything isn't by my choice. Everything that is bad, that has happened to me, those crimes I committed, that wasn't my fault. You forced me to have to go to a life of crime. Really? Really? And that's a frustration I see when somebody wears a t-shirt like that. I get up every day. I go to my job. I keep my nose clean. The most crime that I commit is maybe violating the speed limit, which we all do, okay? I pay my bills. I pay my taxes. I take care of my kids. I try to keep my lawn picked up and mowed. I try to, I try not to get in other people's way or trample on other people's freedoms. I ask nothing more than the same from everybody else. Is that too much to ask? That's what I saw about that t-shirt. An individual saying, I work hard every day for what I have. Why can't you? People were joking around about the whole chode thing in Seattle, that I was going to do an amphibious assault and hand out McDonald's applications to everybody, which, by the way, part of the joke is nowadays all that's done online. I don't even know that there are paper applications for McDonald's. Some places still have paper applications, though. But the thing is, go around, at least in my area, to the grocery stores, to the gas stations, to the restaurants, the fast food restaurants. There are help wanted signs. Even the hardware stores, like Home Depot stuff, there are help wanted signs out front. People have the opportunity to work if they want. At my factory, we can't keep employees. Now that we've recalled people back to work, I think they're committing unemployment fraud, and we've had people that have refused to come back to work, not because they're scared, but because they're scamming the system. Or we've had people show up and walk out. Show up and work a day and then not come back. We need people because we're getting orders for car parts. There are all kinds of places all over where you can go and get a job. And that would be a lot more productive than going out there and looting and committing arson and assaulting people and more or less embarrassing the same group of people that you say you're representing. Embarrassing our nation in front of the world. And embarrassing yourself as an individual because you know better. So, nobody cares. Work harder.